Welcome to the Brain Software Podcast. Is hypnosis just a bunch of crap? Is it mostly fake, or is it just complete BS? From actors on stage pretending they're hypnotized to therapy that doesn't help anyone. Is hypnosis something remarkable, or is it modern snake oil sold by the greedy to the gullible? Well, stay tuned for answers, because we're going to give you the straight goods. This is episode 294, emanating from the Hypnotic World Epicenter, Toronto, or close to it, Canada. I'm Chris Thompson, and today our 5,000-year-old hypnotic wizard, Mike Mandel, and I are going to bring you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the whats and hows of hypnosis.
Yo, what's happening, Satchel? Glad to have you there, Scro. It's me, Bag, Dave Ambrose, the people's physicist and the bane of Niels Bohr. And we're about to get going here, so zip up your fly, sailor. Here comes the question. Whatever happened to that old tranquility we used to know before weapons-grade uranium-235 came along and destabilized the entire frickin' world?
These are days of victory, and we say that because you can't stop us, Lucci. So let's welcome my hypnotic wingman to the whiskey bar, a man who's easily able to annihilate a man twice his age. That's hilarious. The only hypnotist in the world who owns real estate in Cydonia, and he's the Bill Wyman of hypnosis, Mike Mandel.
Yes,
You like how I interrupted myself in the three, going, "Oh, that's hilarious."
Brilliant.
Okay, yeah,
I'm rocking, man.
We did have a few little edits in the intro, which we admit, so it's okay. I also started my stopwatch while you were doing the Dave Ambrose intro, because I want to make sure we stay on track. We've got a lot to get through today, and hopefully in a nice jam-packed, shorter episode than normal. We're going to see. We're going to see. Sometimes we just go on, and to all the people who are writing us saying, "Stop interrupting each other," yeah, it's not going to happen.
We will.
And okay, quick, just a little bit banter before we get into the episode. While I say this, Mike and I, we were talking, we're like, okay, what are we going to do for this episode? Well, we've been seeing quite a few people, let's say on Facebook ads or just in response to, well, mostly Facebook ads, YouTube videos, stuff like that. Unfortunately, you can't just target people who are automatically like, I want to learn hypnosis. So you put it out there, and some people will see it, no fault of their own. They're allowed to see our ads, and they don't know anything. They don't know anything about the topic. So it's kind of like the kindergarten kid explaining to the physics professor about how, oh, gravity, that's a bunch of bullshit, right?
You can't say that.
I can't. I'm allowed to. Yeah, It's okay. That's
You're quoting someone else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a mild swear word, so I'll accept it.
Certainly compared to the ones I normally
And it's kind of funny to us, but it reinforced this view that a lot of people really think that hypnosis is a scam, it's snake oil, it's BS, it only works on the weak-minded. We have kind of talked about this before, but we're going to go into some angles, I think, that you've not heard us talk about before, and then shift gears into something where, how do you actually make use of this? Where is it actually interesting and useful? Because it's not particularly interesting, I suppose, to just talk about how all the ignorant people don't understand anything. I mean, that's true in any field.
But even what you said, Chris, about saying snake oil, I mean, the reason that's written in is because that was an actual comment from someone.
Yeah.
Now, you know what snake oil is?
Yeah, it was basically like a... Geez, no, tell me. I mean, I think snake oil from a snake or something, that's supposed to solve all problems, like a magic elixir.
A panacea that fixes all things. It'll cure your alcoholism.
Yeah,
thanks, your
Mike.
Dependence on alcohol. It'll help you cut down the drinking.
It will fix your psoriasis, help you sleep better at night.
Go to the 1880s in the West, in the U.S. Typically, a guy would come to town, Dr. So-and-so.
He'd have some snake oil.
Have snake oil. He'd be a coach, and he'd have the bottles in the back, and then he'd have people in the crowd who were shills who'd say, oh, this cured my scrofula, this cured my testicular
fake testimonials,
cancer,
right?
all this. Yeah, and then he'd start selling it. It would be mostly alcohol with some herbs in it, so people would drink it. But snake oil is sort of the catch-all term of something that seemed to be a panacea, but in reality was just crap and a complete ripoff.
Okay.
But people were looking at our ad of legitimate training and just saying, snake oil, what?
Yeah, and actually, it's really quite funny to me, too, because one guy... I think what happened is, I'll tell you the quick story. So Timothy September, our head of coaching at Mike Mandel Hypnosis, but also the creator of Enter the Loop, which is a phenomenal method of conversational hypnosis. We love it. He started running some of his own Facebook ads for that, which makes total sense. That's working out really well. But of course, people will see that and go, it's a scam. Like, I made a comment on one of them. It's like, this is ridiculous. I know the guy. I know the stuff he's teaching. It's great. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So the guy ended up finding our ads, but he didn't find an ad. He came to like an Instagram reel. I think it was an Ask the Wizard episode.
Okay.
We started doing these episodes that are, welcome to another episode of Ask the Wizard. And then it's just a hypnosis question that's come in and Mike answers it. It's
Sounds
not an ad.
safe, yeah.
So they go, this is a scam. You're trying to steal. It's like, dude, this isn't an ad. It's like there's nothing for sale here. It's really funny.
It reminds me of that dick, and I won't say his name, but it was Brian Threadgill.
Oh, yeah.
In Sussex. And this freaking guy said, I know a con when I see it. I was a cop for 30 years, and all these people, these testimonials are fake. And he was just a dick.
There was
a dick.
That I remember that this was about 10 years ago, and we were marketing our hypnotic power inductions course, which we used to sell long ago on DVD.
Yeah, for $97.
$97. So we decided to turn it into a digital product, thanks to the education from Ryan Dice, digitalmarketer.com. I thought, okay, this actually makes sense as a lead-in offer. If you want to give people an amazing experience for a very low amount of money, they're probably going to have a good impression and be like, hey, if that training is that good, maybe I should check out the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy.
Sense.
So we offered the digital version for $7. Now, obviously, a lot of people bought it because it was a freaking bargain. But that guy, Brian Threadgill, at the time, this is, and of course, here's what happened.
Scammers.
It wasn't our testimonials. Our students were commenting on the ad saying, this is amazing. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
And he started accusing them of being fake people, like plants.
And then I think they all started writing to him.
This actually turns into a nice segue to our discussion of hypnosis because, in fact, so that's it. Our banter and usual promo of like what live classes we're doing. Go to our website. You'll find out. We have an events page. All the stuff's there. But this whole like, oh, well, they must be plants. People must be planting these fake testimonials from fake people who are just saying this. Because in his view, $7 was too good to be true. Mm-hmm. Now, actually, I thanked the guy in the end because I think in a way it made me rethink, well, maybe $7 does seem too good to be true. So at the time, we just raised it to $17. You know what happened?
It's a con.
Nothing changed on the conversion rate.
Yeah.
People still saw it as an amazing deal, and it was the same problem. We ended up adding more. Like we did a Vegas training for 4 hours. We added that to the course. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'll make sure I put a link in because we have a tutorial that we started running called Power Inductions. It's a short video of Mike explaining how to do inductions Mike Mandel style using catalepsy. Really cool. It's only a few minutes long and it's totally free, but it then leads you into an offer which you can now get that course and another full course called the Confident Hypnotist course bundled together for $17. So I'll make sure that there's a link in the show notes here for that.
Brilliant.
Okay. And
well done, Chris. Well done.
All right. So let's talk about now. Let's get into the meat of what we wanted to say. Why do people think... Sorry.
Well, let's start with my intro here. I've written this little paragraph. I like it. Is hypnosis real? Mm-hmm. And if it isn't, why does it work so well? And if it is real, add air quotes here, what the heck does that even mean?
Yeah.
In this episode, we're going to address the comments and the lunacy of the naysayers and give you the real facts on
the lunacy. Did they get a lunacy jacket? Which is probably way worse looking than the Blue Jays home run jacket, which is awesome. We're not even going to go there.
Well, yeah, we are. Jays are going to.
Well, by the time, we'll see if that proves to be correct.
Prediction.
If by the time this goes live, the Jays are the World Series champions of 2025,
and we don't apologize at all.
We won't apologize at all.
Howell's hysterical laughter. Okay.
Otherwise, it will make. Yeah.
See, Chris, there are lots of hypnotic experts out there. I call hypnotic experts of their own opinion. And I look at the comments that have posted on HypnoThoughts the other day, HypnoThoughts Live. Our dear friend Scott Sandlin, who runs this with Stephanie, and they do a great job. And I just posted because it has struck me as odd. I can think of 3 people. Mm-hmm. None of them are giants.
We won't name them.
None of them are giants in hypnosis. But they all claim to be giants in hypnosis, even though they never come to the conferences. They never show their faces. They don't face any of the people that they trash. They're the only ones who know anything. Everybody else.
Do they trash specific people, or do they just?
In the middle of a sentence, a comment, not a period. Yeah. I know you hate that, but I'm doing it anyway.
No, you're right.
But the thing is, They say nobody knows but me. They have the inner secrets. Everyone else is crap. And I say, why don't they ever come to the world's greatest hypnosis conference, Hypnothoughts Live, and meet their peers and meet these trainers who they say are no good, and talk to us face to face? And just they won't show their faces.
Just like we're all friendly with all the other trainers. In fact,
they're fabulous.
We had the wrong attitude. We've done this on the podcast. We talked about this. 2015, we went to Hypnothoughts Live in Las Vegas with the wrong attitude.
Well, no, I had the wrong attitude.
Well, and I absorbed it from you, but we had seen so much garbage that we thought, we'll go there and show him how it's really done. And we ended up making so many amazing friends and realizing, wow, there's so much to share. And actually changed our attitude. Now the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy is all about learn from this wizard. But you know what?
Learn from the others too.
We
Melissa
bring them
Tears,
in.
James Tripp, the Jacquelines, David Snyder.
This is way too much about us right now.
No, the thing is, we get the comments online, but being able to comment on something does not qualify you as an expert. That's the problem. When people just trash other people, especially hypnosis, and people say, I don't even believe in hypnosis.
Yes.
Well, you don't have to believe in it.
You don't have to believe in gravity.
Part of the mythology is, part of the mythology is that hypnosis is, look, we're going at high speed trying to get everything in.
You don't have to believe in gravity.
Hypnosis isn't a placebo effect.
Yes.
You don't have to believe in it.
Yes.
It's not about that.
Yes. It's true. In fact, so let's some of the things I'm slowing down so that people can understand. We're wrapping up. It's like we're so excited about this topic. I want to just sort of quickly jump in on a few of these points and then hand them to you. We've made notes which we have been ignoring in this podcast so far. But yes, people don't believe in it. Now, we want to talk about name amnesia because there is a video that's gone I'll call it semi-viral. It's an older video of you explaining how name amnesia works.
Yes, and so thousands of times.
Yeah, and people will write stuff like, BS, I'd like to see that happen on an unprepared subject. I'm like, you don't understand the context. This is used in entertainment. Generally in therapy, you don't cause someone to forget their name. It's not particularly really useful. For that. Yeah. And it's the context is not right. But on stage for entertainment, someone who volunteers is much more likely to unconsciously absorb that suggestion and for the time being, lose track of their name, lose it.
Yeah.
And you show how it's done. It's like, it's stage. There is no such thing as they're all unprepared to a degree, but they volunteered for the show.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that. And then the other, you could never make me forget my name.
Now we're back to this clash of wills theory.
So it's a straw man argument.
You're trying to make this work on me and I'm going to resist you. Paul Moyer's ex-mother-in-law. She said, what does Mike do for a living? He seems like a nice guy. Oh, he's a hypnotist. She went dead silent in a rage and then said, well, I'd like to see him try it on me.
Yeah.
Like, what the F does that mean?
Where does this come from?
That
lack
of knowledge, lack of information, treating it as a personal affront that you're saying you can control them or something.
Yeah.
It's none of those things.
It would be sort of like I have a headache and somebody offers me a Tylenol. You can't make me take that pill kind of thing. So, generally it stems from, I hate to say it, it's ignorance. Yeah. Now, again, I remember 10 years ago when we first mentioned this on the podcast, ignorance is not an insult. It is not an insult to be ignorant. There are many things that you and I are ignorant. Well, not so much, I suppose. But
it's from the Greek gnosko. Yeah. And it's the same word we get ignorant from. We also get agnostic from, meaning I don't know. Right. Ignorance is just not knowing. Right. It's not like when we were little kids, when I was in school, and if someone said something crude, the girls would say, are you ever ignorant? They say ignorant as meant crude.
Yeah,
that's
it
really
mean
ignorant.
That. It really means to not know. And so a lot of the times, I would say every single time, when somebody says, oh, that's fake, that's a scam, you're using plants in the audience. We should talk about that too. Do stage hypnotists ever use plants?
Well, it was on my poster.
Yeah.
It was on my actual poster. $5,000 reward to anyone who can prove that Mike Mandel uses plants in the audience or assistance of any kind.
Yeah. What are the other terms for plants? Plants. What are there's another
shills.
There's shills. There's another one I'm thinking of.
One, yeah.
There's another term I'm thinking of. It'll come to me. I won't waste a bunch of time trying to remember this.
We have to figure this out.
Yeah, I know. Stooges.
Yes,
that's the word. Stooges. Okay. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So now let's actually dive into that for a moment.
All right.
Because that is one thing where somebody could claim that, oh, this is all fake, because they witnessed somebody else's show where someone did use stooges.
Oh, there are some who
there are stage hypnotists that have built their careers on using stooges. Not necessarily all stooges, but maybe like stooges.
They salt the group
just to get the ball rolling, and then other people. Like, do you want to speak about the group dynamics and how that works?
But realize, first of all, not just bringing stooges to events, but literally one hypnotist who's, I wouldn't say he's famous, but he does
stooge every time.
He would hand a card to everybody who volunteered, and they read this and then go into hypnosis, and he gathers the card again. And the card says on it, I can't really do this. Play along. It'll be hilarious, and the audience will have fun.
Oh man, are you serious?
Pretty pathetic. I think he got that from one of the, and I might be wrong, but I think I'm right. The dean of hypnosis, I think Ormond McGill recommended this method for beginners.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that's what is that? Like fake it till you make it sort of thing, but it doesn't even imply
fake it till you catch them.
It doesn't even imply that you're doing something to up your skill and actually do hypnosis.
They're paying you money to hand people cards, basically.
Yeah, and to just basically act silly, not actually being in hypnosis. Yeah. Okay, so then there's...
Touch my hand.
Yeah, I did. Where are we going from here?
Well, I think one of the reasons people don't understand how well hypnosis works is they see the stuff happen on stage, and people leave the stage. And this comes right out of Human Givens theory. This is where I got this method. Where I got this, not a quote, but what they talked about. The idea that people leave the stage, and they actually, a lot of them have the apex problem. They cannot believe that they would do all that. So then they say, oh, no, I was just playing along.
Yeah.
But anyone watching them who is a trained hypnotist, certainly one of our students, would be able to look at them and see the external trance indicators that you cannot consciously create, like flushing and red in the hollow of the throat and changes in blink reflex.
Almost instantaneous responses to that. Just to me, when I was 18 years old in the audience for one of your shows, what got me really interested, witnessing this going, I don't think a Hollywood actor or actress most of the time could do that well.
Because the unconscious is so fast. You know, when I say full moon and the person howls like a werewolf, and it would be, and we're just talking 10 minutes later, and it was a full moon. Just instant.
And that one, yes. Now I see that and go, the instantaneousness of the response is a convincer. At the time, though, the big one for me was the genuine ability of some white guy to fake speaking Chinese. That's what you did. You had a guy who clearly does not speak Chinese.
I have no recollection
be able to
of that,
fake it. So, and he went to tell off a guy in the front row. I've told this story that was a huge convincer to me. I'm like, I couldn't do that. I don't know anyone who could just do that.
And do things straight face. Like when I used to say that guy in the fourth row in the audience, there was 6,000 people at Western University. Yeah. The guy in the fourth row there wearing the red, he was the one pinching you.
Yeah.
But he's terrified of vegetables, vegetables. And the girl's up there yelling,
and
broccoli, rutabaga, potatoes. And she's doing it totally straight-faced and intense.
It's 10 out of 10 intensity that just, it doesn't happen in an everyday situation. Like if you were playing, what's one of those just actor games or something where, you know, your Pictionary or... you know what I'm thinking about.
Murder mystery or something.
Where you try to act out charades.
Charades.
Yeah. Those
charades.
Like, you know, people can get really into charades, but I mean not the same into it as you see in a hypnosis show where they're genuinely hypnotized.
I remember I said, charades is the worst time to have a heart attack. You're like,
I can't talk.
Partner, heart attack. You're nodding yes.
Or to choke.
The worst time to inhale a vitamin.
Oh, man. Okay.
Now, let's move this now into the rubric of hypnotic change work. Now, some people have gone to hypnotists, but unfortunately, there was one organization, I know because I attended their session to see what they were teaching. They would teach you to be a hypnotic change agent. They might even have said hypnotherapist back then in the 90s. A weekend. Reading scripts at someone. So you go to someone like that who reads a script at you, it doesn't work, and then you do this blanket universal, hypnosis is fake, it doesn't work. I tried.
This is interesting. So there are really two ends of the spectrum. You could see results that are results, like let's say entertainment.
Response.
Response. That's a better way to say it, because otherwise it implies therapeutic. So let's say you see a response that's so overwhelmingly impressive, you conclude it must be fake. Right? And justified by the fact that the person has the apex problem, which if you're new to this, apex problem is basically that it happens so it's just something happens so clearly that you cannot believe it.
You can't get your head around the fact that something happened, because it seems impossible, even though the fact that the phobia is gone or whatever.
Right. Usually we use this term in therapy, like I just couldn't believe that the hypnosis caused my, let's say, allergy to go away. Therefore, it must have been something else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did quit smoking, but it was nothing you did. I
remember somebody literally saying, "Oh, it was because I started eating broccoli."
Yeah.
I can't remember the context, but that was an explanation for something that had nothing to do with a dietary thing.
So people go to great lengths to justify having.
So they can see crazy stuff on stage, conclude that that's not possible because it's too out there. Oh, and then backed up by the fact that the person will say, "Oh, I was just playing along," because they can hardly believe that they did it. Yeah. So that's one thing. And by the way, that's not a universal thing. Most people will say, "Wow, that was amazing."
Because they have amnesia and everything. Yeah.
A small percentage of people will get that apex problem and deny it and be like, "No, I was just playing along." That happened to me the first time I hypnotized a guy after your show, and had him. I was only like 20 years old, so I had him doing some pretty crude things that I would never do again. Not very proud of it.
Things, Chris? What did you do?
One involved imagining Cindy Crawford, who was a very hot supermodel at the time.
Okay, anyway, let's continue with this.
So he, of course, denied it. That said, I just woke him up sleepwalking or worse. Having a dream.
That. You told me that.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, clearly not the case, but that's going to protect him because he can hardly believe what he did, right? Now,
yes.
Or you have the opposite end of the spectrum. Is somebody goes in for therapeutic change, somebody reads a stupid script at them. It don't work, and they conclude this is a bunch of crap.
Yeah, hypnosis isn't real. It doesn't work. Or the person comes in for therapy and wants to try hypnosis to see if it'll work. That person may not be a threshold.
Yes.
Because you've got to remember, it's not the hypnotist who does anything. The hypnotist is the conductor of the orchestra. It's the subject who does the change work, who goes into trance. It's their responsibility. And for someone to say, "Well, I went to a hypnotist, but it didn't work. He couldn't get me into a trance." It's like saying, "I took an art class and it was a lousy art teacher. She couldn't teach me how to paint."
Art is fake.
I just sat there and watched everybody else. She couldn't make me paint a painting.
Yeah, and art is fake.
Therefore, art is fake.
Therefore, art is fake.
Well,
right.
Except for the Renaissance era.
Yeah, it reminds me of being at a marketing conference, and Dean Graziosi, who's partners with Tony Robbins, was on stage. Dean is a brilliant marketer, and he was talking about how, well, people will say advertising doesn't work, and if you don't do it right, well, maybe it won't work. It's like, do you ever hear someone saying planes don't actually fly? Planes don't work. Aerodynamics is just fake. Aerodynamics is all a fraud. Well, because occasionally, like, a plane might fall out of the sky.
Yeah,
bad news. That doesn't mean planes don't work. Something went wrong, right? Similarly, hypnosis, that's just somebody did it crappy. Somebody did it badly. That doesn't mean it's.
Did you hear hear me say the Werther effect?
The Werther effect?
Yeah.
No.
The Werther effect is when a famous public personality, political, whatever, in the arts, whatever, kills himself, and it has to make the front page. When that happens, there's a 3-day period where planes plunge out of the sky.
Oh, yeah. I think that was in Cialdini. I was just going to say that's in Cialdini Influence and Persuasion.
Yeah.
And that's
something hypnotic there.
Yeah, I'm not even going to
That's something for another day. So let's get back to this.
That's really depressing. All right.
But people have unrealistic expectations of what hypnosis is. So someone goes in for hypnotic work and they think they're going to have a general anesthetic, that they'll wake up and they've been gone 6 hours and not have a clue. No, it's not always like that. It can be.
It's not a hammer that hit you in the head and knocked you
Correct, but it could be.
Yeah.
And it's I heard everything you said. It didn't work. Well, you have to hear me. Otherwise, how are you going to respond?
So ignorance and straw man fallacies basically cause this kind of thinking.
I felt I could just open my eyes and come out of it anytime I wanted. Yeah, you could have. But you
could have.
But you
exactly.
didn't. But the one that really used to get to me was the mythology of the special state.
Thank you. We talked about that in a prior
podcast. Let's get there again, because this needs to be
repeat it. Yeah.
The amazing Kreskin, God bless him. He's no longer with us, a lovable old humbug who, to his dying day in his 80s, still tried to sell people that he created, quote unquote, genuine phenomena. There was something supernatural in what he's doing. Even though I'm looking at these store-bought effects and going, yeah, that's Louis Tannen. Where does that come from? Oh, yeah, I saw that on such and such a site.
Yeah.
These are things he's bought. And he had good mentalism.
Like props,
skill,
basically.
Yeah, but bought effects. But near the end, he was starting to lose it a bit. That's when Paul Pacific, who's the world's biggest Kreskin fan, he had supper with him. He used to say, he's gone at the game. I love the man, but he's gone at the game. Gone at the game. He can't do a damn thing. I love him. That's exactly how we'd say it. But here's the thing. Kreskin was huge on this special state nonsense. People say hypnosis is a special state. I can prove it isn't. With
Which
an
people?
EEG, yeah, your brainwaves show you're still awake, and they'll polygraph. And he hit a straw man, kept trying to knock it down. We believe that hypnosis is a state that is supported by different behaviors, things you're doing. But we don't think it's a special state. We believe the opposite. It's a normal state.
Yeah, in fact, if we wanted to say that it was a special state, here's how we would probably say it. We don't differentiate between trance and hypnosis.
No, but some people do.
Except that trance can happen on autopilot.
Yeah.
We can zone out, right? Highway hypnosis, watching the Jays play, all of these things, watching a scary movie, being on a first date, somebody could be really caught up in that moment. These are things that cause natural trance. Whereas hypnosis is also trance. But we usually identify hypnosis as something that we do on purpose to ourselves or with someone else to help them make changes or for entertainment, to speak back to stage hypnosis, right? So if you're doing hypnosis with a willing participant for their benefit, then we'll call it hypnosis and they're in a trance. But we don't really differentiate between the two. Except that hypnosis is usually the word where you're doing it on purpose.
Right, but it doesn't have to be. And we do not differentiate because we have a very simple model. The mark of the tyro is to complexify everything. The mark of the wizard and the expert is to make it as simple as possible. And that's sort of how we approach this. That's how we approach this. No, there's the history of hypnotism, and there's only a couple of bullet points here, added to the carnival aspects of it. I mentioned a couple of podcasts ago. You've not read it at that point yet. But in Yapko's book, Dr. Yapko, and I have great respect for him, great researcher, but he talks about a specific hypnotist whose name escapes me because he wasn't that interesting. But this guy came to town and he had this girl with him and he hypnotized her and they dug a freaking grave and buried her in a coffin for 3 days.
Oh, man.
And then dug her up and woke her up. Now, what troubled me was, first of all, that anyone would do something so ludicrous. Obviously, there was some subterfuge going on.
Can you imagine if somebody actually tried that?
Oh, yeah, ridiculous. But here's what bothered me. Regardless of the respect I have for Dr. Yapko, why didn't he even make a comment and say, guys, this cannot be what happened. This is not physically possible.
Yes, I am sorry to tell you that hypnosis cannot overcome the basic rules of biology and that a human will die without oxygen.
Really? Yeah. Well, stop sleeping in that coffin.
But under hypnosis, Mike, it's okay. They don't need oxygen anymore, apparently.
This goes back early days, Mesmer with his magnetic fluids and the weirdness of John Elliotson in London, who was Harley Street doctor, amazing doctor, but he was taken in by 2 girls, the O'Kee sisters, and they scammed him constantly. And because he believed, he saw everything through his own belief and didn't realize he was being toyed with. Yeah. And so he was discredited. And, he's the one that actually James Esdale read when he started doing mesmerism.
Oh, no kidding. Actually, by the way, this really bears mentioning that just because somebody is highly educated, like you said, doesn't mean that they're going to understand something outside of their domain. No, to your point, right? Magicians can fool scientists.
Oh, Russell Targan.
Because they don't know what they don't know.
Oh, but they're laser physicists. Yes. Yeah. They're not magicians.
Irrelevant. Exactly.
Yeah, irrelevant.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Charcot and his hysterical women at Salpêtrière. It just
what's the story there so people understand?
Okay, Charcot tried to revive mesmerism, even though he's a neurologist, was really famed. And at Salpêtrière in Paris, he would work with women, only women, it seems. And I'd be surprised if they weren't all young and good looking.
Quick pause. So he worked with mesmerism, but again, mesmerism is another area.
Magnetic passes,
people
fluids.
Thinking that you're controlling magnetic waves in people's bodies or something. Fluids, which actually was just focused attention and hypnosis. But okay, so he was doing this mesmerism stuff.
Right, people have convulsions and so this was all very carnival. All of this stuff was carny stuff.
Yeah.
And that really got into the foundation in the early days of hypnosis, is this weird, wacky thing. And it's taken a long time to attempt to overcome that.
Yeah, still to this day.
But what does it do? I mean, de-traumatization after 2 world wars. It was phenomenal. Do you know, for those of you who do not believe that hypnosis exists, and of course, none of our listeners and viewers think that because you have us as your mentors. And when I say you have us, I mean you have me. Now, interestingly, 1955, British Medical Association, formally recognizing hypnotism as a legitimate medical practice. And then they increased the use of it in psychiatry and surgery because you can reduce post-operative mortality and all sorts of things. Then 1978, British Medical Association, again, they reaffirmed their stance and recommend that medical practitioners receive formal training in using hypnosis.
That would be cool if it happened in medical school.
Now, let's just zip up here in 1958. American Medical Association officially recognized hypnosis as a legitimate therapeutic modality, mainly, though, as an adjunct in psychiatry and pain management. That's fine.
Which is totally fine. In fact, it's very useful in pain management, which is something people
psychiatry. Look at Milton H. Erickson.
Yeah, Milton H. Erickson was a medical doctor, psychiatrist, and the GOAT of hypnosis.
Of all time. Yeah. People who say he wasn't, they just don't know
wrong.
what they're talking about. Then the American Psychological Association. Remember Dr. Arthur Perlini took me to see their symposium on hypnosis. They followed suit. They recognized hypnosis as a valuable tool in psychological therapy. Hypnosis began to be integrated into psychoanalysis, which is hypnoanalysis, makes it even faster. Trauma therapy, pain management, surgical preparation. And then we're on to the 1960s. Medical and psychological bodies began to accept hypnosis, particularly after the Canadian Psychiatric Association acknowledged its use and validity.
That's good history.
So what does the British Medical Association, the American Medical Association, the American Psychological Association, and the Canadian Medical Association know about hypnosis that they accept it with all their rigor as scientists and researchers, and some people still don't? Could it be that some people are, let me use air quotes, dicks? I think it is. But what about personal examples? People say, well, that's just, what's the term?
Anecdotal?
No, it's just anecdotal. Yeah. But here's the thing people don't realize. Oh, well, that's just anecdotal. It doesn't count. Even if something is anecdotal, that doesn't mean it can't be true. And there's a whole thing. If you say it's anecdotal, it means you can dismiss it because you haven't done it on 20,000 people.
Anecdotal can't on its own prove like a cause-effect relationship. None. But enough anecdotes lead to scientific research that do essentially prove causation.
Yeah. But Chris, before we get to personal examples and the rest of this, we have
to go.
Commercial we have to go to. Tonight on the Transylvania Network.
Hey, Mr. Gomez, I haven't seen you in ages. You always used to come in for lunch on the patio, but disappeared. How have you been?
Okay, I guess. I'm just sleeping in a lot these days. I only woke up about an hour ago. I spend most of my time indoors watching old episodes of Dark Shadows with the curtains drawn, and I don't go out until late, at least when the sun's gone down.
That sounds weird, Mr. Gomez. It's nearly 10 o'clock at night, and I'll be closing the restaurant soon. Would you like a nice glass of wine or something?
No, I don't drink wine. I might have a Bloody Mary. I'm hungry, though, devilishly hungry. You got any blood sausage?
No, I don't. I have some Caesar salad left, though, with a nice shredded chicken.
Hell no. Caesar salad is bathed with garlic, something I'm not enjoying much these days.
Garlic's a natural health powerhouse, Mr. Gomez. It's good for everybody.
Not me, Benny. I find it to be quite repulsive.
Well, to be honest, you're not looking real well, Mr. Gomez. You're very pale and thin. That black cape looks good on you, though.
Thanks. I sewed in the red satin lining myself. But I've never seen how it looks. Mirrors don't work very well for me anymore. I had them all removed from my castle.
Your castle? Mr. Gomez, you're kind of freaking me out. You're so thin and anemic. Now, you don't like garlic. You're wearing a black cape, and you wanted to know if I had any blood sausage. Can I ask you something personal?
Sure, Benny. What do you want to know?
I'm almost afraid to ask, but are you Dracula, Mr. Gomez?
I'm not sure. I might be.
Larry Gomez, the man who might be Dracula, tonight at midnight on the Vlad the Impaler Network. Okay, we're back. Let's talk about personal examples, and then we'll fly through whatever else we've got in terms of actual hypnosis knowledge to share with you all.
Okay, it is anecdotal, but again, that doesn't mean it can't be true. In my own life, done hundreds of phobia cures, dozens of allergy treatments where the person is free of allergies right away. It's their immune system doing it, not me. I'm just coaching them through it. Worked with sports medicine, all kinds of things, like all kinds of different changes have happened because of hypnosis.
I remember doing a ChatGPT conversation maybe a couple months ago. This was probably 6 months ago, actually. It was probably after our last Architecture of Hypnosis, because we've been regularly bringing people up who have some sort of allergy. We've had peanut allergies. We've had shellfish,
lilacs,
we've had egg and dairy.
Cats,
all kinds of different stuff. And I had a conversation with ChatGPT about this, going, modality, like, what do you think of this? And it said, oh, well, allergies are typically either something that are permanent, like I can't remember the terminology it used now, so I'm going to stop talking about this. But basically, I had a conversation with what is the view in the medical world about allergies, and it said, well, no, you're kind of like, you're stuck with it. It's based in your system. It'll never go away. Although some people grow out of them. I'm like, well, how does that work? If people grow out of them, like, could we accelerate that with hypnosis? Maybe that's what's happening here. And the GPT basically went on to say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And actually, a lot of the modern research around allergies does have doctors changing their views about how this can work. Yeah. So I'm optimistic that hopefully in, I don't know, maybe 10 years or so, when we're all in self-driving Teslas, that
we all live on Mars.
Yeah. It's well understood that hypnosis can affect the immune system, can affect allergies. That would be awesome.
And with the allergy treatment, it's a classic NLP allergy treatment, but immune system retraining. Mm-hmm. When we do it, ideally, we deliver a pre-frame first that an allergy is like a phobia of the immune system.
Right.
And that metaphor at the beginning is a good way to set the stage to do it. But I've never, ever, I'm saying this carefully, I've never had it fail when I've done this. And what I still find fascinating about this is we do it hypnotically. They're working in a trance. And then the person typically in less than 10 minutes is completely free of it. Now, we don't say, okay, now eat this oyster. No, we say, go back to your allergist, go back to your primary healthcare provider and have them check you. Send you to an allergist, have skin patching done, whatever it is. We tell them to do it. And then the person goes back and says, yeah, I don't have the allergy anymore. I can eat shellfish. And my question is always the same. Why doesn't the allergist do this? Why do they give you shots and all this stuff? Why don't they use this method?
Ain't no money in it, I guess.
Follow the dollars.
Yeah, I had this, as you know, now Ollie, my dog, is 7 years old. So 8 years ago.
Shut up.
Getting on to probably 8 years ago when I did self-hypnosis work and you did an intervention with me as well to get rid of my dog allergy that I'd had all my life. And it's like, okay, went to get allergy testing before we ordered the dog. Sounds really impersonal, but you know what I mean. Before we bought the dog, I had the test done. 0 dog allergy, according to the blood results.
Now, had you shown, shown dog
skin
allergy before from skin?
Yeah, oh yeah. I had every allergy, like dust and feathers and
women.
Isn't every man suffering from that?
No.
In certain aspects, I suppose. So,
like
the nagging, and the argumentation.
We're just writing a book, and this is just
kidding. And my wife ever watches this. I'm just kidding, honey. I love you. My skin prick test, no dog allergy. Amazingly weird, huh? Apparently, though, you know what I was allergic to? I didn't even know they test for this. Cockroaches.
Why the hell
are they testing for cockroach allergies? It's the weirdest thing in the world.
Especially when you keep putting the emphasis on the first syllable.
Cockroaches. I just noticed that.
It's totally weird.
This
is still family friendly,
all right,
so we're not going to mention roaches anymore. Pain management, allergy relief, de-traumatization, sports performance, all of these things.
Do you know what I love is ever since you've started talking about how you can go into a trance and use self-hypnosis to imagine tiny little firemen spraying liquid nitrogen on a burn. Yeah. So if you burn yourself on like a hot pan, I'm not talking about the kind of burn where you literally burn off a bunch of skin. You can't reverse the burn.
You can't survive a napalm attack. Yeah.
What normally happens is the body, as you've explained it, is producing bradykinins, which are increasing the inflammation and then, of course, blistering and all this stuff. So if you get to the burn within a couple of hours, you're able to shut down that response. And then the burnt skin just kind of heals on its own anyway. It's not burned that bad that it bothers you much. And by the next day, you're like, oh, wow, I don't even have a burn instead of having peeling blisters.
It'll take it down at least a level.
So you did this. Then you explained it to our students. I did it. It was like, holy crap.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you did it.
Yeah, it worked amazing. And I normally am very sensitive to these kinds of burns. I did it. Just 5 minutes of visualizing just tiny little
staying relaxed, staying in a trance. Dabney Ewan said if you get within 4 hours, but I thought you said 2.
Yeah,
no, I say within an hour or 2.
Okay, so our students started learning this and then reporting back in our community. And there was a recent time where a lady in our group reported back that she did this herself. But it was like, she described it as if some time had passed. So I asked in the group, how long did you wait? She said 1 hour. Perfect, within the window, right?
Yep.
So she had burned herself or something. It was quite uncomfortable and from cooking a meal for her family. Went to deal with it. Problem gone. woke up the next morning. It was just like, these anecdotes keep stacking up, right? Now, are we going to go and do a scientific study on this?
No.
I don't think so. We don't have the interest to
because we're at work right now. Work should be fun.
There we go. Exactly.
Brilliant.
But give it a shot.
Yeah. And again, do it from a very relaxed state. Make it very clear. Have them hose it down till the burn starts.
I think that's a really key point, the relaxation. You don't want to be all stressed out.
Tense, that's going to tenser.
It's going to keep you in the wrong kind of trance.
Yeah.
You need to be in this nice, chill, relaxed,
not
just imagining.
Yeah. So here's the thing, as we start to summarize this. So you don't believe in hypnosis, or someone doesn't. My question is, based on all the things about the medical associations, the things that work, what do they know that you don't? What information do they have that you don't have access to, that you've just made these big, grandiose claims it doesn't work? Because you've already experienced hypnosis. Oh, no, I have. Yeah, you have. Because you've been in television trances. When your your blink reflexes slowed down. You've sunk into the couch. Watch people. The longer they watch a movie, the more they get drawn in, the more their face becomes flaccid, the slower the blink reflex, the more they sink down, more relaxed, and the less they will respond to you.
Yeah.
You have to say their name like 5 times.
If we chunk all of this up, it's a good way to say it this way. If there are topics that you don't understand, you can either decide to learn more about them, or you can choose to stay ignorant and have conclusions that maybe aren't supported in reality.
Well, there's a third option.
A good, or the choice that I prefer, and I want to hear your third option in a second, is just go learn more about the topic, whatever the topic is. It's so freaking easy to learn stuff these days. What's your excuse, right?
Well, let's get the trilemma.
Right,
what was the first one?
The first was you could learn about it.
Yep.
You could stay ignorant.
Yeah.
What's the third choice?
Stay ignorant and be a dick. It's sort of an overlap with the second one. But by telling everybody that you're ignorant.
That's a good point. Actually, it is a third. You're very true.
It can't be very true.
You can
no
be,
modifier on true.
You can be correct.
Yeah.
Or not say correct. You can just be educated.
How about accurate?
You can be educated on a topic and accurate.
Right.
You can be ignorant but silent, or you can be ignorant and vocal. And that's what the people who go, oh, it's a bunch of crap. You couldn't make me forget my name. That's just being ignorant and showing everybody.
As Adam's ex said once, oh, this is just a bunch of hooey.
Yeah. What's the line? There's a great line about being like not only being so ignorant, but demonstrating it publicly.
Demonstrably ignorant. Yeah. It's like Billy Munnelly said, people have a right to be stupid and ignorant, but they should do so in the privacy of their own home.
That's a really good point. And that's true for everything, not just hypnosis.
Highway hypnosis, you go into trance. A long distance driving home at night, you're suddenly in your driveway. Time distortion happens all the time. Bank lineup of 20 minutes can seem like 6 weeks. Out on a Friday night with your friends, you go, shoot, it's midnight already. Go either way. And one of the favorites, because although we are past Halloween with this coming out, Halloween is approaching for us.
Yes,
still.
That's right. It's in one day for
Chris,
us.
Ghost stories are hypnotic. You tell a ghost story that engages emotions of fear and that, and then you go home that night and you just, did I lock that door? You know, all of this stuff, scary movies.
Or just, I mean, how many times when you were a kid did you hear that people put razor blades in apples or something like that? So if somebody gave you an apple, how quick were you immediately searching for the wound in the apple?
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to go Halloween night, go through, Metro grocery store and just with a bag of apples and some razor blades and check out.
This is not Halloween, and I know we're right at the end of the podcast, but who was your buddy when you were a kid whose dad had him, like he had a basement bedroom and his dad would say like, you know, is it scary down there or something like that? Yeah. Tell that one.
The banging started.
Okay.
His dad basically terrified him. John's a great guy. And, but when he was a kid, he had a basement bedroom down by the furnace room and he was scared of the dark and he'd be going downstairs to be like, a young kid, and his dad would be upstairs, and I'll walk you down, John. Okay, go down the stairs. Oh, it's dark down there, Dad. Okay, just turn the little light on. Yeah, it's still dark down there, though. That's okay, John. It's just our house. Keep going. Okay, I'm at the furnace room. It's real scary. It's okay, John. I'm up here. Everything's fine. Just go into your room. Go to bed. Okay, I'm down the end of the hall. I'm about to go to my room and turn the light on, Dad. Dad, no answer. And then his dad he'd go, Dad, and his dad would go, look out, it's gonna kill you. And he'd be hysterical crying, running upstairs. Now it's horrible. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
But his dad installed a terror of the dark by anchoring this.
Was this hypnotic?
Well, there's no such thing as hypnosis, is there?
So it couldn't be. There you go.
All right. Just let me show you a great human failing that I'm admitting to.
Okay, okay. I'm looking forward
I forget. I look at the end of the microphone, the shotgun mic out there, instead of looking at the screen.
So you're going to be like, just jack the up starer.
A different one.
Yeah.
I've been staring at the hinge on the door over there.
Oh, that's hilarious. So that's
when I
hypnotic.
look like I've had a stroke, it's hinge looking. It's nothing but that.
Hinge looking.
Hypnosis is not a thing to believe in or not believe in. It's a set of procedures that can yield amazing results. It is an amplifier of human experience. And neuroscience confirms this through MRIs and EEGs. Hypnosis is real when it's done properly.
I think with that said, we are done for this episode.
Right. Hurrah!
All right. So let me just leave you with a couple of quick things. Yeah. If you are interested in learning more about hypnosis, I'll give you two pathways. If you want to use hypnosis and language patterns and communication strategies and all the awesome stuff on yourself, the best way to do that with us is something called the Brain Software Syndicate. It's really low cost. You get $1,800 worth of our best training for personal development and hypnosis tracks, self-hypnosis training, not to become a hypnotist, to help other people. To help yourself. Brain Software Syndicate. I'll put a link in the show. I will not put a link in the show notes. Somebody is going to put a link in the show notes. If you want to become a hypnotist, you get everything that's in the Brain Software Syndicate and the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy, which is all of our courses, everything we've ever created. Then go to the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy. If you're new, it's $1 for the first week. It's a monthly subscription or annual thereafter. It's all very clearly disclosed. You can cancel it yourself if you hate us and think it's no good. You won't. You're going to love it. It's awesome. All of our students keep telling us that all the time. And just go to MikeMandelHypnosis.com. Either way, you'll find links to those things through the homepage. And just remember, don't abuse the dollar trial. We will catch you. You can only do it once. It's for new members only. All right? There you go. And
snake oil.
Do you have anything else to say before we close it off?
I just want to say thanks once again.
And good night.